My memory serves me correct. The back of the house was in line with these pink flags straight there, and right now it is not. I'm worried that this house is moving on there. It's literally just sitting on there. Like it's not, nothing's holding it down except for the weight of itself.
Don't try this at home.
This is going on Rusty Judgment.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to Rusty Judgment. My name is Tom, and this is my wife Dawn.
And the house is in place.
Well, we're not totally sure that it's still in place. It may be moving up on those piers.
Okay, we'll talk about that today. But if you didn't catch in the last video, watching this house get moved in, that was pretty cool. Here's what surprised me. How fast they were going down the road with a house.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that we didn't mention, which I forgot all about because I wasn't following, you were following the house.
Yeah.
It was garbage day, and they have a guy in front of them move the garbage cans and a guy behind move the garbage cans back because it was so wide. I had no idea that a 30-foot wide house would take up an entire county road.
Yeah.
Like off the shoulders. Like,
Even, I mean, they had that guy when you going through the roundabout too, like spotting, because I mean, how close to those signs did he come to?
I was watching. I was flying the drone, and I was watching through the camera, and I was very concerned.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. I mean, you can tell they've done this thousands of times. I mean, they're really good at it, but
yes,
it was pretty cool to watch.
And obviously, I sped the footage up a little bit.
A little bit, but they were going.
But they were flying
35 down the road.
Yeah, towards the end on that last section of road before they turned into the lot.
Yeah.
That was full speed.
Yeah.
That was not sped up.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there was also some good questions that came up from that video, so I thought we could answer them today. But you've also been doing even more work out there, so you can share that too.
Yes, and as you can see behind us, there is now snow on the ground.
Yep.
Believe it or not, the house being moved wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it's Minnesota.
We're moving more dirt from behind my personal residence over to the lots. And all the dirt we're moving out now is going to go over to the north lot because we're elevating that house so high. We're going to build up the front of the property and the north side of the property. We only want the basement to stick 2 feet out of the ground. Right now it sticks out of the ground about 5 to 6 feet. So we're going to bring in 4-ish feet of fill, and we're going to elevate it around there and shape it and make it look like it should be the way we're making it. Right now it's just looking silly. So before we dug the basement hole, I called the house movers because they wanted to know, hey, let us come out to the lot and talk with you guys quick before you dig the hole. So they come out and they're telling the excavator how they want the hole dug and that they want a huge ramp on each end because they were going to drive the house in the hole and then raise it way up in the air. And I was like, I'm sorry, what are we doing now?
Yeah, because we had thought you would do the basement first and then put the house on, right?
Yeah, that was, I mean, my understanding the whole time was that you dig a hole, you put the footings and the basement walls up, then they bring the house in and they set it on.
Right.
So I found out that's not right.
Which kind of makes sense now because they couldn't drive it in if there's basement walls. So it's easier for them to put it in place when there's no basement walls, right?
The reason that they were doing it is because they said of the elevation off the ground that the house was going to be at. Oh. So if it was like being built on a hillside where the basement walls are only going to stick like a couple feet up off the main ground, then they would have the basement done first, they'd bring the house in front of it, and they'd roll it on and set it on top.
Oh, okay.
But because we were going so high, they explained it like this. We don't want to have a basement here and a house here have to go 12 feet in the air and then move it over that high and set it down. They're like, that's super dangerous.
Okay.
So it was safer to do it the way they do it.
Okay.
So that's why.
Yeah.
They also set it 2.5 feet higher so that the concrete guys will have room to work when they put the forms up, because the forms is basically like a mold. You're making a wall molds and then they're gonna pour it. So they need some room to work. Hey, welcome back. It's been a few days. I found out that the house has not moved. The house, I was concerned that it kind of rotated a little bit with how windy it was. I talked to the house movers. He's like, nope, it was right in line with those poles when it was at the ground level, but when they raised it up, it kind of moved a little bit. And so it was that way, and I've been keeping an eye on it since then. It's probably been 4 days, and every day I'm out here, I peek at it, and it looks exactly the same. So the house isn't moving at all. He said if he was concerned about it at all, he wouldn't have raised the house, or he'd come out here and they'd bring it back down. But he said, no, I'm not. He wasn't worried about the house. So that gave me some assurance, and it's still here. House still hasn't moved. I'm still moving dirt out here. Right now, what I'm gonna do is I've got 15 loads of fill over here, and I'm just piling it as high as I can get it, because I don't want to fill all this in yet, because they need to do the basements, then we get into backfill around the basement, and then we're going to start filling in. But so this pile here is all black dirt. I've got the dozer running. I'm going to push all this black dirt up over to here, and then I'm going to start stacking all the clay that I'm bringing in front of the house now, because that fill is going to end up going in front of the house. I don't want to get it too close to the basement walls where it's going to like start falling into the basement and make the concrete guys upset. Well, that was fun. Ugh. That took about 3.5 hours. All right, so we got all the black dirt moved off and out of the way, so now we can start filling the front yard with clay, because we got to build this up quite a bit. So that whole deal there, all get full of clay.
The reason we're doing poured walls versus block walls?
That is because I couldn't get anyone to do block walls.
They said this is all they do now is poured walls.
Yeah, I called a bunch of different concrete companies, and they're all like, yeah, we quit doing block like 20 years ago.
I'm like, okay.
So I was like, all right, well, I guess we're not doing block.
But they're supposed to be more water resistant.
Yeah, I mean, they're prettier. It's a better wall. And then they're supposed to not allow any kind of water to get into them. So they're like, if you have any kind of water issues, poured walls are the way to go.
Which, again, with these houses being in a flat farm field, which we can answer that question too, we have had some concerns about water issues. So that's, again, why you're raising it up a little bit. We're going to
we're going to
shape around it.
Yep. And, I mean, the other reason why, like, so we're not, like, that worried about water.
No,
like,
it's not like
in a
pond
floodplain or anything
yeah.
like that. It's just, like, we see it in our own house here. Like, we get some water comes in the basement, and it just is what it is. Our soil is clay in this area, and so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not standing water. There's not a river flowing underneath your house or around your house. Like, it's nothing like that.
It's just if you get a lot of rain, or in the spring when all the snow is melting, there can be, and the ground's still frozen.
Yeah.
That's when you tend to have some issues if you're gonna.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty common for, like, our area, it's code to do the tile lines are on the inside and outside, and the sump baskets and all that. That's standard around here. Mm-hmm. That may not be standard anywhere else, but in our area, that's standard.
Mm-hmm. So the question also came up, why are you taking away precious farm field to put 2 houses on them?
We hate farmers. Because they were the lots that were for sale.
All that was available around us.
That was it.
Yeah. So, and they've been for sale for over a year. And in this area, you can build 1 house in 40 acres. And so it's not uncommon then to group the building eligibilities, the building rights together, so that you take as little from the farm field. So now there's 4 houses in a row there.
Yeah, and so that's what happened was the farmer who owned all that field around, he wanted to sell off the building rights. Well, the way for him to do that in the most economical way is to make 2.5 acre lots, because that in our area is the minimum acreage you need to build a house, with a building right attached to each piece of land. And then you group them either with other houses or in like the area of the property that isn't the best for farming. And that's what they did.
Yeah. And we've had an interest in just we knew we wanted to do rentals, and we thought, well, hey, if we could do some rural rentals and do some rentals where people can live in the country, because we like living in the country, we think that would be cool. Many have told us that that's silly, that you should just do them in town. And
the house movers, they told me that you don't.
What are you doing?
You don't make rentals in the country, man. Like, you do that in town, not in the country. I was like, I like the country, so that's what we're doing.
Right? So we might, after this, decide that was not a wise decision, but for now.
We'll see.
Which also leads to another question of, would it just be cheaper or more economical to buy existing rentals?
I'll say this, it would be easier.
Way easier.
It would be much easier. But as far as more economical, in this current market, in our area, we're south of the metro, it would not be cheaper. It would at 100. We know what rural properties sell for, and I promise we're in the green.
Yeah. So, and because the other question had come up too of like, would it be cheaper and easier just to build a house? And
oh no.
But it's very clearly cheaper. It's not even close actually compared to new construction.
No, it's not. Well, the other thing too that we're doing is the hillside behind our house. We're shaving all that dirt from there and moving it over to the lots. That's actually making the field behind us better for farming, because it was like a drastic steep hill and it was dangerous for farming. And so we took some tree lines out a couple years ago, way back there. And now we're taking the sharpness out of the hill. So it's like a nice gradual slope. So it'll prevent from having water erosion, like soil erosion back there. And then it'll also just make it safer for farming. So it's a win-win. We get to take the dirt from here over to there, make those lots better, make the farming back here better. And
in the grand scheme, the amount of dirt that's actually being moved is fairly negligible. I mean, there's some big construction projects going on not far from us, and we're just looking at like the amount of like earth that they're moving, and we're like, it's like peanuts, like what Tom is actually doing.
Well, and what's actually amazing, I've probably hauled dirt for a total of a month straight this summer. And then if you look at what I've done back there in the grand scheme of our field, like that took a month to move. Yes, that took one guy a month to move. Right now, I'm getting ready. I just loaded the truck again. I'm getting ready to head out there with my first load for the day. We're supposed to have concrete guys out there right now getting ready to put footings in. So I'm really hoping that when I get there, there are concrete guys there putting footings in, because it is November in Minnesota right now. We've had a pretty nice fall so far, but the problem with our upcoming forecast is that today is the last nice day. There will be 3 days of rain and snow, and then the temperature drops into the teens as far as I can see on the forecast. So today's probably the last day that I will get to be hauling dirt, because it'll probably get too cold after that. And I really would like a foundation and a basement underneath this house so we can set it down before it gets too cold. Let's hope that when we get out to the lots, there are concrete guys and footings going in. Well, I had to switch to the dump truck. Everything's been going good there. I haven't even counted how many loads I've got out here today. The concrete guys stopped for some reason and left. Not sure why. Wish they were still working. I'm gonna keep trucking for a few hours yet. It's gonna be dark soon. But man, look at this thing. That is a good sunset.
And that was another question that came up. So you've been hauling the dirt out there. Are you worried about everything freezing up before you actually get a chance to backfill it and put it back in place?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely worried about that every single day. I don't know if you guys noticed, I've lost a lot of hair this summer. Like, no joke.
Worrying about all of this. Everything just, I mean, lately the most biggest hang up now too is like the inspector, weather, and then the inspector coming out. So it's just, everything is just like, keeps getting stretched out. So yep, it's probably going to freeze, and you just, what can you do, right? You just cross that bridge when you get there.
Lose more hair.
Yeah. Tom likes to borrow trouble from tomorrow. I try to live for today.
Yep. Well, today did not go as planned. I trucked in more dirt all day today. I ran the semi out of fuel once. That took probably an hour to get more fuel and to get the system primed and it back up and running. Then I got going again. And then a switch that releases the back tailgate that dumps the dirt on the dump truck quit working. That took probably another hour and a half or longer to find out why the switch wasn't getting power, track down the broken wire, fix the broken wire, and then get back on the road. We've also been battling potential rain all day. My concern is that the ground is going to be so frozen by the time the basement walls are done, the waterproofing and insulation is done on the outside of the wall, and we could start to backfill. My fear is that all of this dirt is going to be rock hard and we're not going to be able to backfill around the house all winter long. That all to be said. Also, now I'm rained out because it started pouring rain. It got super greasy. I slipped all over with the dump truck, so we're done hauling for now. There's just sometimes it's the way it goes. So we got footings, we got some more dirt, we got some more dirt back over there. You can't really see. And the footings are roughly set. Yeah, this process is taking way longer than I thought it was ever gonna take.
But it's really fun now to see the house out there, to feel like it's coming together. I know it's taken longer than we thought, but I don't know, it's really cool. This is something we've always wanted to do. You kind of touched on that last video, and
I feel like it's more exciting for you because you go out there like I think you've been out there like 5 times this summer. Like over the whole summer. So I feel like it's way more exciting for you.
There's always big changes every time I go out there. It is. Like, I'm not the one. Like, Tom's the one with all the stress and arranging all the contractors and the inspections.
Or even the design of the basement and how it's all going to get laid out. You're like, I don't care.
Yeah. Should we put a bathroom here? I don't care.
I know, but then
we're not going to live there.
But then you see the plans and you're like, oh, why are we doing that? Like, you get it.
No. We've talked about this before, but this project really is our learning curve. Like this, I am just chalking it up to like, this is a learning experience, and you're learning a ton, and we know like the next one's going to go a little smoother, and then... So maybe this house is costing more money than we anticipated. There is that. Because I don't know what I'm doing. We're not going to make those mistakes on round 2. Yeah. You are getting way better. You don't give yourself enough credit. You are getting a lot better. Dawn's been out there 5 times this year. 5. I still have all my hair. So... You came and checked on me one day because I didn't answer my phone for a few hours. I was a little worried. Otherwise, you don't come out there. Yeah. I don't know how we got off on that tangent. Dawn doesn't like, care. I'm recording Dawn now, so now I get to say what I want. Yeah. Yeah, I'll try harder. All right, well, next week is going to be actually exciting. Next week is a video that was like the most exciting thing for me to date. So check back next week to watch that. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.